Welcome back everyone to another video. It's your boy Ali. I hope wherever you're watching from you're having a wonderful day or a wonderful night. Today we got a bit of a different video. Yes, we are doing an opening up of the ST-10 3 captains, bit of an old one, but it's because we're going to be looking at one of the best leaders we have at the moment coming into OPO 7 and playing for right now, especially after EBO 1. So let's crack straight into it. Now, for probably a lot of you already know what comes in this pack. And of course, they're all in there ever so nicely, packed inside a nice little deck box there for you with Luffy, Kid, and Law. Really nice deck box there. So you've got, as mentioned here, 3 captains with the deck, but the one at the very top there is the RP Law that so many people are running at the moment, and can you really blame them with the support you have going on? Now, myself as an NL player, don't really like versing this deck, but I mean it's pretty damn good. I'll tell you what. Running through some of the cards you can run with it as well might be something I might want to try out. But we'll go through it. So if you haven't seen it before, we'll go through the ST-10 deck. Welcome to anyone new that's watching. But I mean, this man right here, Trafalgar Law, is one of the best leaders in the game. If you're getting into the card game, I'll run through the 3 captains and their abilities that you do have here, as well as some of the other cards that you do get from this deck. So we'll start off at the very back here with Eustace Captain Kid. So he's got 5 life here, most out of all of them. And on your turn, if you have 4 or more life cards, give this leader negative 1,000 power. And when attacking neg 1 Don, this leader gains 2,000 power during this turn. So pretty decent leader, but not really used too much at the moment. And for your next one here, probably the second most popular, especially when this deck came out, you've got, of course, Monkey D. Luffy. 3 life, very thin on that there, but 4 activate your main once per turn. If you got 0 Don, cards on your field or 8 or more Don cards on the field, add up to 1 Don from your Don deck and set it as active. Really good Don ramp for that card ability and leader there. And of course, the man of the hour, Trafalgar Law. So this is a really good card for those of you that might not know about the card game or have played much of it trying to get into it. Really good leader at the moment. It's got so much support. For his ability, you've got negging you 3 Don. Can place up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less at the bottom of the opponent's deck. Good little bottom deck, and get rid of some really power cards from your opponent. And play up to 1 card with the cost of 4 or less from your hand, so you can really build your board very quickly. So in particular with your RP Law at the moment, especially from EBO 1, you got like your Bond Clay that you want to chuck in there, maybe your Chopper as well. Really, really good card, Kid and Killer. So I'll try and put some of these cards on screen so you can see their abilities as well, but that Kid and Killer with the Rush ability, that combo is absolutely nuts. And even from OPO 6, you've got Reiju in particular, one that you add in. Even the Blocker Kid from OPO 5, I believe it is, Awakening in the New Era. So really, really good deck that you can build with your Trafalgar Law. So really, really awesome leader right there. At the very back, you can see you get your 10 shiny Don. Really nice little extravagant extra Don, I guess you can call them if you want to be nice and extra of them. So for first off, on the cards you do get here, you've got your Monkey D. Luffy with the Rush ability. So there's a 10 cost, a big hitter here. But once per turn, when your opponent has a blocker, carry up to one of your opponent's characters with 8,000 power or less. Pretty good card. Now, this one here. This is a really good card as well that you want to be running in your RP Law deck. So this Blocker Law, as well as being a blocker, pretty busted. Well, I guess you are negging a Don, so it is fair enough, but upon play, if you neg 1 Don, if your opponent has 7 or more cards in their hands, you can trash 2 cards from your opponent's hand. So, I mean, not much more really needs to be said about that, does it? It can be a really good ability, or especially if the opponent's not expecting it. It's happened to me in particular in a lot of my games, and sometimes especially very early on when I started playing with OPO 5 and this coming out very soon after, that I wasn't really keeping in mind whilst versing your RP Law or even some of the purple decks in general. This can really ruin your hand, especially if you have to trash 2, and if you have some plays up in mind. But no, it's a really good Law to be running in your deck, especially for your RP Law. Next one here, we've got your Eustace Captain Kid. So on play and when attacking, you can neg 1 Don. Up to one of your leaders gains 1,000 power until the start of the next turn. Really nice art here. Got a bit of texturing in these. You can probably see that from the light there at the top. Really love that about these decks. Here we go. We've got a Roronoa Zoro Rush. 3 cost with 5,000 power. Really good card as well. That you can run as well in the RP lore. Would definitely recommend that. Really good red card. And with him, of course, comes 4 for this deck. Next, we've got Nami. So a good little searcher here. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal 1 Straw Hat character type card other than Nami and add it to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Pretty standard as per other searchers, but it's good that it's a 5-cost searcher. And of course, you do get 4 of her as well in this deck. Next, we've got Sanji. 6 costs, so on play, if your opponent has a character with 5,000 or more power, this character gains Rush during this turn. Not a card you really see played much, and yet again, you've got 4 of him in the deck there. Next, we've got Jinbei. Not too many, I mean, there are Jinbei cards, but I guess you don't really see many used in all the meta decks going on at the moment. But with Jinbei, if you add a Don to him when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters negative 2,000 power during this turn. Pretty good even though it's a low cost, so can be a good ability there. Now Killer, speaking of Kid Killer, not this card, but obviously an older one here. When you've got once per turn, your turn when a Don card in your field is returned to your Don deck, KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters with the cost of 3 or less. So this, of course, card in keeping in mind with Trafalgar Law especially, or some of the other leaders there. For getting rid of your Don, you can KO up to one of your opponent's characters. So a good little combo card there that you can have. And of course, you've got 4 of the killers in the deck. This one is a good one to have in your RP lore as well, the Sachi and Penguin combo. So on play, as well as being a 2k counter, really good to have them in your hand. But on play, if you got 3 or less Don cards on your field, add up to 2 Don cards from your Don deck and rest them. So a really good way to cycle your Don back into your deck and what you can have active there. Really, really good card. And yet again, of course, you get 4 of the combo there. Then you've got Jean Bart. For on play, you can rest 1 Don, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and set it as active. Of course, yet again, trying to sort of combo with the leaders there. Really good type of deck that came out. I know I opened ST-10 and had quite of a really good reaction to that, especially with the ults in it card that you do get in there, sort of more of a special deck that they've released, whereas this one is more so obviously 3 captains, 3 leaders. I do really like when they give you the sort of different options there for it too. It's really good, done some good stuff, some Bandai. So for next one, we've got Heat here, is if it's your turn, once per turn when a Don card's active on your field, return to your Don deck. This card gains 2,000 power until the start of your next turn. And again, you get 4 of him. Flipping him accidentally there. Onto that. Now Beppo, another one you could probably choose to. Would probably recommend to run that in your RP lore. For on play and when attacking, if your opponent has more Don cards on the field than you, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. Yet again, especially with Law's ability being the main sort of go-to leader at the moment, you're really going to be trying to utilize that ability when possible, especially if you're keeping him alive. That's really good. Obviously, you're probably going to be on the negative side of your Don for most of your turns, so it's a really good card to have in the deck there too. As I'm running out of space to put all these lovely cards. Nice little shine. Next, we've got Wire. So him being a blocker, 3 cost. Once per turn, when a Don card on your field is returned to your Don deck, draw a card, trash 1 from your hand. So if you want to sort of cycle between, you can use that well. Yet again, really going well with the leader's abilities. Don't actually remember all these cards that are in this deck yet. It's a really good sort of setup, especially if you want to use some of these cards, as some people, especially in ST-13, use some of the yellow cards in the yellow decks and things like that. So really good cards you've got in here. For next one, you've got your Gum Gum Giant Sumo Slap. Really nice card there, being a counter up to 1 of your leaders of cards or character cards gains 2,000 power during this turn, carry up to 1 of your opponent's characters with 2,000 power or less, with you getting 2 of them there. Next one being your Gum Gum Kong Gatling. And for a main 5 cost, you can carry up to one of your opponent's characters with 7,000 power or less. Pretty good event card there. And then for the last one that we do have for an event here, you've got Punk Vise in the deck. And on your main turn, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less and add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. Wow, look at that. What a treat we've had from this deck here. So especially if you want to be running that RP lore in particular, some of the cards you do want to have in that deck, especially from what I've seen in Versed, you want to have your Trafalgar lore there for that ability. Probably want to run at least sort of 2 of him. You want to have 2 of your Arashra and Orozoros. At least 2 Beppos. You can run more if you want for the deck here too. Definitely Sachi and Penguin between sort of your 2 to 4 would recommend upon that there. That's sort of the deck review there, guys. Let me know if you want any more sort of details or maybe deck layouts, if you want me to show my NL deck that I've got that I built as well. Offer a bit of advice from some YouTubers myself too. Let me know if you want to have a sort of deep dive into the decks that I run and things that I like about it as well. Hope you enjoyed the video, a bit of a different one there today. If you are new to the channel, really hope you enjoyed. We've got OPO 7 coming up very soon, so actually next week, I think on Saturday, I've got my first pre-release event, so gonna have some really fun recaps on that, and I'll show you, hopefully I pulled something really nice, maybe a manga on the pre-release event. That'd be awesome. So stay tuned everyone for some more content. Let me know down below actually what deck you're running or looking to run in OPO 7. Now we got some new leaders that people are excited for there, or is it going to be RP lore actually for yourself as well? Thank you guys so much for watching again. I do encourage, please do like and subscribe the content. We're pushing so well so far, all the way to that 1,000 goal. We've hit 100 so quick. I thank everyone for the support there, but for now, we'll see you in the next one.